Once upon a time, in a small village nestled in the mountains, there lived a stonecutter named Yutaka. Yutaka was a hard-working man who spent most of his days cutting stones for the local builders. He was content with his life, but he always felt that he deserved more. One day, as Yutaka was working, he saw a procession of people headed towards the palace of the king. The king was said to be the most powerful man in the world, and Yutaka couldn't help but feel a pang of jealousy as he watched the procession pass by. As he continued his work, Yutaka wished with all his might to be as powerful as the king. Suddenly, to his surprise, he was transported to the palace where the king sat on his throne. Yutaka was amazed at the sight before him, and he felt a rush of power and excitement. The king looked at Yutaka and asked him what he wanted. Yutaka responded without hesitation, "I want to be as powerful as you, your majesty." The king was impressed with Yutaka's ambition and granted him his wish. Instantly, Yutaka was transformed into the king. He felt the weight of the crown on his head and the power of the throne beneath him. He was surrounded by wealth, luxury, and servants at his beck and call. He felt invincible, and he reveled in his newfound power. But as time went on, Yutaka began to feel restless once again. He realized that the power and wealth he had gained did not bring him happiness. He found that he was still subject to the whims of others, and that he was just as vulnerable as he had been before. One day, Yutaka was struck by the beauty and majesty of a nearby mountain. He was in awe of the mountain's strength and beauty, and he wished to be as unmovable and unshakable as the mountain. Once again he was granted his wish, and he became the mountain. At first, Yutaka was thrilled with his new form. He was tall and strong, and nothing could shake him. He felt that he was finally invincible. But as time went on, Yutaka began to feel that something was missing. He realized that he had become cold and unfeeling, and that he was unable to appreciate the beauty of the world around him. Once again, Yutaka was struck by a new desire. This time, he wished to be as bright and radiant as the sun. Once again, he was granted his wish, and he became the sun. As the sun, Yutaka felt powerful and radiant. He was able to light up the world and bring warmth to all, but soon he realized that even the sun had its limitations. He was unable to reach certain corners of the world, and he found that his power was not enough to solve all the world's problems. Finally, Yutaka came to a realization. He understood that true happiness did not come from external power, wealth, or status. Happiness came from within. He realized that he had been chasing the wrong things all along, and that he had been blind to the simple pleasures of life. With this newfound understanding, Yutaka was content. He returned to his life as a stonecutter, but this time he found joy in the simplicity of his work. He realized that the power he had been seeking was already within him, and that he did not need anything else to be happy. From that day forward, Yutaka lived a simple and content life. He realized that true power came from within, and that happiness could be found in the smallest things. He lived the rest of his days with a newfound appreciation for the world around him. He found joy in the simple pleasures of life, like the sound of birds chirping in the morning, the feeling of the sun on his face, and the company of his friends and family. Years passed, and Yutaka grew old. One day, as he lay on his deathbed, he thought back to his life and all that he had experienced. He realized that his journey had taught him a valuable lesson, one that he wanted to pass on to others. As he took his last breath, he whispered to his loved ones, "Remember, true happiness comes from within. Don't chase after power or wealth, but find joy in the simple things. Life is fleeting, and it's important to appreciate every moment." And so Yutaka's legacy lived on. His story was told and retold, and his message was spread far and wide. People all over the world were inspired by his journey, and they learned to find happiness in the small things. In the end, Yutaka had achieved what he had always wanted. He had found true happiness, and his story had touched the lives of countless others, inspiring them to live a life filled with joy, contentment, and peace. Yutaka's journey teaches us an important lesson, that true happiness comes from within. It's easy to get caught up in the pursuit of power, wealth, and status, but in the end, these things are fleeting. It's the simple things in life that bring us true joy and contentment. The sound of birds chirping in the morning, the feeling of the sun on our faces, and the love and support of our friends and family. Yutaka's story reminds us to appreciate the present moment and find happiness in the small things. We don't need to be a king, a mountain, or the sun to be happy. We just need to be ourselves and appreciate the world around us. So let Yutaka's journey inspire you to live a life filled with joy, contentment, and peace. Remember, true happiness comes from within, and it's up to us to find it. Thank you for listening to this story, and may it bring you hope, inspiration, and happiness.